For many of us, the effects of climate change and sea level rise may seem far in the future, but for our kids and grandkids, it's the world they'll inherit.
So in 2003, state educators developed standards for teaching students that oceans are complex biological systems. They also gave school districts the freedom to focus on the unique environmental concerns in their communities.
Tonight in our special series on the king tide, how students in Hampton Roads are learning to be resilient in the wake of sea level rise, and how educators balance science with politics. The Learning Barge might just be the coolest and greenest classroom these kids will ever see.
Ooh, good job.
Powered by the sun and complete with wetlands and science labs, kids climb on board to learn how to be better stewards of the waterways.
It's squishy.
Today, fourth graders from Granby Elementary are learning that the water is salty.
I want you to read those outside numbers.
There's also poop in the water.
No, I don't want poopy water.
A host of creatures call it home.
Are they bites? They're not.
And for students who see their neighborhoods flood, wetlands act as a sponge to absorb rising tides. The Learning Barge is part of the Elizabeth River Project, an organization whose aim is to restore the waterway by educating young and old about its importance to the region and the environment.
The river has done so much for us throughout history. We're a beautiful river. It's something that everybody should be connected to.
Since 2009, 70,000 students have connected to the river by climbing aboard to do research and to collect scientific data on climate change and sea level rise.
I really want them to learn that even as young as they are, each student, each child can help improve our environment.
The Department of Education broadly set standards in 2003 for teaching about the complexities of oceans, acknowledging that climate change and sea level rise are real. The standards are updated every 7 years with many voices in the conversation to try and keep politics out of it.
We have parents that believe, we have parents that don't. It's something we have to wear kid gloves with.
The state also allows school districts to tailor teaching about the environment to the unique challenges different regions of the state face. The pipeline in the west and sea level rise in the Hampton Roads area.
I want them to understand that what they do, what their parents do, what their community does, has a direct impact on our environment, and that includes global climate change and sea level rise.
This tornado is going to destroy everything.
At the Learning Barge, imagination is encouraged.
I'm drawing a fish with the tornado because I'm trying to draw that the tornado messes up the water for the fish.
Along with critical thinking about the world these students will grow up in.
We have opportunities to practice science, to practice math, to practice thinking and acting like researchers, to practice making inferences.
Many kids who visit the Learning Barge have never seen a river or ever seen wetlands, even though they live in a community surrounded by water.
They touch me. They're touching me.
No classroom could ever bring them this close. They will leave here today knowing not just the importance of the river to the Navy and commerce and the long-term effects of sea level rise. They'll also learn that when they were in the fourth grade, the river celebrated the return of seahorses and river otters.
They're our future river stewards, so it's really important to us that they remember the lessons they learned here today and carry it with them forward.
Tomorrow's our special series on the king tide continues. Where does faith intersect the science of rising tides and the larger voice local faith leaders would like to have in the conversation of trying to change the trajectory of climate change?